So, what is cardio? I'll do you one better. Who's cardio? I'll do you one better. Why is cardio? Guys, okay, allow me to properly introduce myself. I am. So, as I said, what is cardio? Just like any other muscle, your heart is also a muscle and it needs workout. And any exercise which targets your heart and lungs is considered as cardiovascular activities, short form cardio. For example, running, jogging, swimming, and all sorts of sport and many more. Well, the main question is how much of people actually do cardio and why don't they do it and why do they do it? And then comes the most famous question, who should do cardio? The simple answer is anybody who has a heart and lungs should do cardio. Makes sense? Should thin guys do cardio? Should ectomorphs do cardio? Should endomorphs do cardio? And is cardio for all these people the same or is there something different? There has to be different, right? Like you can't train the same thing and expect the same result when you have clearly different metabolism and digestive power and your genetics, hereditary traits, everything. So it has to be something different, and that's where I come in to help you. Because for a lot of years I thought as an ectomorph, a thin guy who's slim, I don't need to do cardio because I'm already lean. Obviously, I have a very fast metabolism. That means I can digest any food like quickly, that's super quick. I thought for a lot of years that doing cardio would kill my gains because that's a very popular belief, like cardio kills your gains. That's what I believed for most of years, and that led me to like kind of hinder my performance and never be able to reach the full potential that I was capable of. Like there was some kind of skinny fat in the lower belly abdomen section. I thought hitting some ab exercise or some crunches would make that go away, but it did not, until I realized I had to do a proper cut. I had to do cardios. And that's when I saw the magic happening. That really changed my life. And I'm going to tell you what to do exactly as an ectomorph, an endomorph, and mesomorph. So, the next big question, what sort of cardio should we do? Like, should it be running, jogging, sprinting, or walking, or inclined treadmill walking, or swimming, or just some sports? And to answer that question, it depends specifically to your body type and to your goals. For example, if you are an endomorph, you need to start from activities like which actually burns a lot of calories. For example, some sports, some swimming, some jogging, long jogging, and all of these exercises. If your goal is to just get skinny shredded and nothing more, like you don't need the heart benefit or something like that, you don't want to improve your cardiovascular health, you just want to look good, physically aesthetic, all you need to do is only one thing, which is incline treadmill walking, and that's it. That's just it. You don't need to do anything else, and that's gonna basically change your whole life. But as I started growing in this fitness journey, first of all, when I started the journey, all I wanted was to look big, look good, and shirtless, everything like that. But later on the years, when I started losing my mobility, I started to realize there is much more to fitness than just size and looks. So the overall health is what's more important. And I'm already 23, and I don't want to be feeling old and looking old by the age of 30. So I had to start living like a young person, and that's where the other forms of cardio started kicking in. For example, if you want to be overall healthy, you need to do jogging, swimming, all sorts of cardio. But how much and when is the most important part. For example, right now I'm aiming to build muscle and to look shredded. So for this goal, a lot of cardio is not helpful, because if I burn more calories than I'm currently eating because I'm on cut, I don't gain any muscle. I start losing muscles. So that's what I don't want. So that's where I do 2 days of incline treadmill walking, and one day I do long type of running, not too long, but like almost about 2.5 kilometers. That's it. Once a week, I do 2.5 kilometers run, and soon after that, I start sprinting for 2 to 3 times 100 meters, and that's it. That's my cardio. And in between, I be swimming sometimes, not just like regularly, but it's a form of activity that I love to do. Swimming is something that I love. So that's what I do on my free time, not like schedulely there. So when should we do cardio? For example, if you are a person who wants to gain muscle mass, who wants to gain physique, wants to gain from this exercise, the gym and everything, and wants to build muscle, you need to do cardio after the workout, not before the workout, because a lot of people would say that you need to do warm up, and a lot of people confuse the warm up thinking that it's a cardio, and they start running around and then coming to gym saying I'm warmed up. That's not warm up. Warm up is basically warming up your joints, so it helps to like to pump blood into those muscles that you're going to use, so that there is no injury that you can cause yourself. If you do running or something like absolute cardio before workout, you're using all of your energy over there, and when you come to gym you don't have that much of energy, so you don't push to your failure, and that leads to no growth stage. So that being said, when your gym session is completed, then you hop on to the one thing which is cardio. When I say cardio after gym, it doesn't have to be brutal, it doesn't have to be HITT kind of things like high intensity training stuff, but it has to be like mild, very slow paced, because the whole goal of mine right now is to just lose the fat. And to lose the fat, the best form of exercise, the best form of cardio is just incline treadmill walking, because in that when I do incline treadmill walking, my body thinks it's just an everyday task. You don't need automatic sudden surge of energy, you don't require that much of energy just to walk, right? Like it's basically a simple form of exercise, so your body just adjusts itself and starts burning the stored fat as to convert it into energy that you require. Otherwise, if you're doing some kind of very high intensity training or something like super brutal, your body thinks it has to go on survival mode, like you are doing something all of a sudden, something extreme, so it has to provide some energy. And since you don't have a readily available source because you're also on sugar cut, so it's gonna burn all those carbohydrates that you've been eating and use those as energy packet, which leads to less calorie intake, less good calorie intake, and which means the protein that you're eating is gonna be used for surviving, not thriving. So there's a big thing in the internet right now, hybrid training. Is that the best form of fitness? Yes, it is. Definitely yes. Because what hybrid training does is help you to live your life fully. Like you don't fixate onto one thing. Like for example, if you're a person who likes to go to gym, and I fixate myself to just to go to gym, and I don't play any other sport, I don't do any other exercises, my body is just for the looks. It can't perform well. I can't do sprints, I can't do anything which is out of gym basically. So that's where hybrid training comes in. You do a lot of things along with gym, so I would recommend you to go for 2 days other exercise or one day other exercise and fix it onto gym if you are looking for the looks and your aesthetics, along with living healthy and living your life to the fullest. That being said, like what do? I do swimming, I do running, I do sprinting. That's the things that I love, and also do play some sports like here and there, like some cricket, some other sports like volleyball and all these things. These things are just important. Like playing badminton also is important because it's also a form of cardio. Plus, it's actually fun, and you're quick and agile when you're doing these kind of sport activities. because you don't stand there and you're not completely prepared. Okay, for example, if you go for running, you either running in straight line or you're going on circles. You don't just shift your pace, you just shift your positions here and there. That's what happens when you do badminton, which keeps you young. Because I've seen a lot of people who are just barely 30. If they do some kind of sudden movement, they say, oh, yeah. Why? Because they haven't been living their life like a young person. You need to live like a young person, and that's when you start being young. There's a famous quote, uh, live young, be free, something like that, but I would change it and say, live young, stay young. Because have you seen the kids? They don't do warm up. They just run. If you just wake them up and ask them to run, they run at full speed and there's no cramp. Why do you think that is? Because that's the way they are trained. They are wired in like that. They don't care about getting cramps, because that's their whole day, their whole, whenever they are awake, they're warmed up. They're hot blooded. They're just running everywhere. They can do a lot of exercise. They can do a lot of things. And that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be a kid again. I want to be a baby. Not the baby that you think. And the most big question. Okay, you told me about the ectomorphs, that you should be doing incline treadmill, walking, and after workout that you should be doing all these things. What about the endomorphs and mesomorphs? Mesomorphs are the luckiest ones, because you live in that perfect range where you don't have a lot of fat and you also don't require to put on a lot of muscle like the ectomorphs. Like, you live in the perfect shape. And a lot of people also claim, like, I look good when I'm wearing clothes, I don't need to do gym. That's mesomorphs for you. So, but still, you need gym, you still need to do activities, you still need to do cardios, because you do have heart, right? Like, not just the ectomorphs and endomorphs have heart, you too have heart. So you need to do exercise for that. And for the pure joy of it, you can do it before the workout and all the after the workout. It doesn't really matter. You can push, as long you're pushing good, you can still gain a lot of muscle mass and everything. If you're an endomorph, I would highly recommend you to do your cardios more. For example, all these high intensity cardios and also the long incline treadmill walking and every stuff like that, because you need cardio more than those ectomorphs. Ectomorphs need the cardio only to burn their lower belly fat. That's it. They don't have a lot of fat in their body, but you have a lot of fat in your body, and you need to do a lot of cardios in order to burn that fat and to get lean and to pay. I'm not saying like the lean is the best physique. No, because for a fat person and you say, I completely accept my body, I love my body, and I'm not gonna do anything about it, you're gonna die of obesity, probably some sugar, some BP, some cardiac arrest, whatnot. So I don't want you guys to die like that. It's so obvious, right? You don't want to die pathetic death. So you need to do some sort of exercise and cardio. Doesn't matter how you look, you need to put in that efforts. You need to go to gym. I'm not saying just go to gym. Do any sort of sport activity, any sort of physical activity which helps you to regulate that blood pressure, plus get that cardiovascular activities going on. To round it all off, it's basically simple. You need to do cardio, but when you are doing the cardio is dependent upon your goals. If you're an endomorph who is physically healthier, so you need to do more sessions of cardio in order to burn more calories which is already present in your body and cut down the calories which you are eating. Your intake should be less than your uh, burning. I don't get the word which is like intake. What's the opposite? Output. I don't know. So basically saying you need to work with your body, not against it. Because health is the most important part. Because when you talk about fitness, I think a lot of people have confused it with the aesthetics. Pure aesthetics is looks good. Now, like, you look good shirtless and everything. You can go on beach and everything, but The whole point of fitness is to live your life like you should be living, like you should feel alive. Feeling alive is more important than just looking good. So that's it for today, guys. That was all about the cardio. If you have any questions about cardio and all this sort of exercise, or any sort of exercise, like anything related to fitness, diet, all the plans, anything, you can just drop in the comments or just directly DM me. I will be very much happy to help you guys in order to thrive with each other.